Welcome back to Embracing New Life, and on this week's episode, we dive into part 3 of our interview with Amber Wirth. If you haven't listened to part 1 or part 2, we'd encourage you to go back and reference those before you listen. But if you have, welcome. And without any further ado, we'll dive into part 3 of our interview with Amber Wirth.
And so during this beautiful sort of dance and session is where I'm modeling follow through. So I'm like, it's a progress. It's a process. It's not going to take overnight. I mean, so it's like every time they come in there, they're understanding, oh, this is clicking. This is clicking. I'm like, I want you to do this. I'm going to have homework. I'm going to have you take this home. And I give them very crucial contextual examples that are relevant and that are realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And then we work our way up.
Mm-hmm. So you see yourself wanting to strengthen the parental position.
Mm-hmm.
And how did the teenagers respond to that with you?
One right now might not come back to see me, but seriously though. I think one of the most powerful things in these situations is relationship building.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you're working with kids and teens, and the biggest thing that I honestly say to the families right up front is I said, I'm going to focus on my relationship for a little while. Because parents want change like this, right? Things aren't changing, and I'm like, we need to respect the process. We need to trust this process. I said,
yes.
This is the biggest part, because kids are really scared. Who are you? I'm obviously here because I'm a bad kid, is what they think.
Often,
There's something wrong with me that I need to see Miss Amber. And so when they realize, oh, Miss Amber isn't such a bad person, that I'm actually kind of fun and I'm really reinforcing, that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So then I can start to say, here's why. Tell me why that's hard for you. Let me hear you and see you in this. And then they start to open up and realize, you might be right.
Mm-hmm.
This might be okay. So yeah.
So that building the relationship with them creates enough safety that not only can they share with you, but they're sharing with themselves.
Yeah.
They're letting themselves recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I see your smile as we say that. That's a very rewarding experience.
Yeah, it's huge.
It is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of beautiful change comes from the relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know, and sometimes it's like, you don't really get affirmations for a long while being a therapist, right? I mean, sometimes you go and you're like, I don't know if I did anything today, or I feel like that was horrible. And then you have days where you're like, oh my goodness, these parents are emailing. Hey, my kiddo wants to talk to you about something. They don't want to talk to me. And it's great.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. 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 You had a lot of interactions and providing service for the autistic individuals earlier in your career. Do you work with individuals with autism today?
There's not really any in my caseload. And I think that that's a really complicated question, because sometimes when we get intakes, we have to kind of figure out, are we a good fit?
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that I learned from my other supervisor from doing in-home is that sometimes they took every single possible case and said, here you go. And as therapists, like, some of our boundaries is understanding, would this be the best for this kiddo? Am I a good role, and what is my role? It's constantly evaluating what their needs are, even just initially. And so I think that it depends on the spectrum, on where they're at and their functioning. But I don't really have any cases with autism right now. because I know sometimes when we get them, it's hard for us to refer, but I do think that there's a lot of beautiful other agencies that are more equipped to do the role that is maybe ABA or like, you know, different
And
type
so
of
we're looking what is best for this particular person.
Yeah.
And even though I might have the skills and knowledge, this may not be the best setting for that. And so I can refer.
Yep.
Yes.
And I think, you know, where I've lived and the Twin Cities and the agencies that you're working with, you know, the populations are entirely different. And so here, I mean, Waukesha and Brookfield is more of sort of like, I don't want to say, but it's a different type of population. And so inner city would be different types of population and cultural perspectives. So around here I get a lot of like, you know, families that have careers and, you know, have kiddos that are struggling in school a little bit. Some that are more severe than others, obviously. A lot of teens and stuff, but yeah, it's like, yeah, more suburbial kind of families, I guess. So.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You talked about working with families around boundaries. You know, what often are, you know, kind of the boundaries that you're looking to work with families on? You know, what are the ones that kind of pop up the most that, you know, families need to work through or work on?
Oh, it's a contextual question.
For sure.
So I think each family, I would have to evaluate where boundaries need to be implemented. In each case, there's so many beautiful boundaries that we can talk about. The sense of like even making the implicit explicit. You know, that's like a boundary of creating, here's what I'm communicating to you. And so some of these tools that I provide that I'm trying to get them to understand what boundaries can look like. You know, like, so a lot of the families that come in, let's just say like, right now I'm working with a family that has a lot of enmeshment with the teenager that they have. And she's really struggling with a lot of her anxiety, a lot of depression and stuff, but I'm really seeing this extreme enmeshment. And so what I'm trying to describe to them is what enmeshment looks like. Because they don't know. I mean, like, it's really the lack of understanding. And so I'll say, like, for example, you know, your relationship with your daughter, let's just say, okay, so you told me today that you told your daughter to put the dishes away, but she didn't. And then she yelled at you, and then you allowed her to get away with it, right? I mean, it's like, okay, so let's pick this. What would it look like if we did follow through? And so we describe this whole process of just this example. And then we go into the next and the next and the next. So that's kind of sort of how we implement boundaries, yeah.
And you're doing this with two generations simultaneously.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not good, bad, it's all our learning.
Exactly. Yes. Yes. Yep. And I love that piece about it. You know, I love when the parents start to heal and grow themselves as well, because I do honestly think that without the parents' help, there would be as a jolt in the healing process without them.
Yeah. And almost always parents are doing the best they can with what they got.
For sure, yeah.
And as a parent, I know there wasn't a guidebook that came with that little baby. And so the learning, I'm hearing in your description that it's an openness to continue growing, continue learning, rather than we've either arrived or not arrived.
Yeah. Yeah, you have the opportunity to kind of transfer some of your curious spirit to them, right? Like, hey, just be curious. You know?
Totally. And one of the things I really hone in on is self-compassion through it. Because shame is a huge component that I'm always striving to help psychoeducate for them. And where some of that murkiness lies in describing what their shame looks like. which is one of the biggest, most powerful things in describing, again, psychoeducation around contextually where the parent shame is.
Yeah.
I'm not a good parent. I'm not a good mom. I'm not a good wife.
Yeah.
And I'm reframing some of this stuff a lot of, let me tell you why you are amazing at what you do.
Yeah.
And again, that's the reinforcing and the gentleness of the self-compassion and normalization through that
Yes.
piece of like going through this really hard stuff. I know that we're kind of focusing on this hard thing, but I'm also really honing on be gentle with yourself.
Yeah.
This is not easy.
No. Yeah. No.
And what I hear in that normalizing is facilitating realistic expectations.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That when we look at what's realistic, there's a lot of pressures off.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's why I like to start from little tiny homeworks.
Uh-huh.
Because I don't want to set my families up for failure. I don't want to set my kid up for failure.
Yeah.
And so let's like build,
Yeah.
you know. Even like when I create like a token economy chart for some of my kiddos, it's like, how can we start really low? Because I want them to feel so proud of themselves to really get, and I'll tell the parents to be like, I want you to seriously reinforce them over and beyond. Because what a lot of the kids are doing is a lot of behaviors are coming from intention. They're getting something out of it. It's just the negativity. What we're trying to do is redo it the other way. So the reinforcement
Most
is,
definitely.
you know, instead of the negative, we're replacing it. That that feels better than the negative reinforcement.
Our needs are real, and our need to be known. Kids have those needs too, and they long to have their parents know them.
For sure.
And they want their parents to understand them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Do teenagers still want that?
Oh my gosh. For sure. I mean, I want it.
Me too. Right.
Tell me what I'm doing good. I don't know.
Many times, parents are concluding, my kids don't want me to know them. They don't. I'm not important to them, etc.
Yeah.
How would you respond to such a parent? They presented with that type of perspective.
Well, I think again, it's sort of like parents operate on the only way that they know how.
Mm-hmm.
They come by themselves honestly.
Uh-huh.
And with that, it's again this gentle awareness of bringing that implicit, explicit of communication. And some of that really is just let's communicate.
Yeah.
And in session, it is tell you how you feel. And again, using like the sense of, did you hear what she said?
Uh-huh.
Is that right? I'm respecting each person in the room wholeheartedly, that I want the kid to feel respected. And so when I have that conversation of vulnerability, that's huge.
It's huge. It is.
And a lot of the parents were like, I didn't know. I'm so sorry.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's why.
Uh-huh. And research has shown that for teens, the parent still is exceedingly important to them, even though they may act indifferent. We call that a defense mechanism.
And truly, I mean, the sense where anger is really primary. It's the underlying actually is sadness.
Yep.
They're feeling sad that maybe their parents, aren't understanding them, aren't giving them time, and so of course they're going to lash out in anger. And so we get underneath the anger to identify really what's going on.
Yeah. And I know for me as a parent, like viewing my kids as they're a 44-year-old adult like myself, and they should be able to operate in life like I do. Recognizing, like, no, they're still developing, and they have a long ways to go. So age-appropriate, understandings of just how they're functioning. Not expecting the world of them, but setting realistic expectations for them as well, and providing safety so that they can feel like they can open up and share with you.
Yeah, that's like huge. I mean,
Yep.
like one of the biggest things, especially so many kids with ADHD, where parents are like, why can't they just,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
This competition and this comparison of why can't my kid just be like that kid, and why can't my kid behave like that kid, why can't they be as smart as that kid? And I'm like, this is not fair for them.
No.
That's right.
This is not their fault that they have ADHD. This is not their fault they have anxiety, PTSD symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
They're literally operating on the way that they know how.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I'm describing this to my parents, I'm
Uh-huh.
like, pull back. You know, like very much pull back.
Uh-huh.
Because it provides them to have empathy for them.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And I want these parents to have empathy, not, this gentleness of wondering, of curiosity, of I'm wondering why, instead of not expecting them to perform. Because then that induces shame in my kiddos.
Yep.
And then they really feel I'm not good enough, I'm not smart, and then they just don't really want to try.
Mm-hmm.
So you describe gentleness and firmness both. Not an either or.
Yeah.
But inside the firmness, there's gentleness. Or inside the gentleness, there's a consistency, predictability, firmness.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
This I describe as my parents as we're always consistently using this both and concept,
Uh-huh.
where I understand that this is a behavioral issue and I will not allow them to do this, and it's frustrating and it's really hard and it's not appropriate, and I'm going to keep them accountable and have empathy and come back to it with compassion, with my authentic self, with honoring it. And so I'm describing both and both. It's not either or.
Right.
Ever.
Right. Uh-huh. And when a parent is able to move into that tension, they start to feel a freedom that they hadn't experienced before.
Yes, because sometimes boundaries can be very terrifying, and I sort of have to reframe that boundaries are about loving.
Yep. Yes.
So when we describe what's the best thing for your child, the best thing right now can be implementing these boundaries. It may look harsh and they're going to have a massive temper tantrum. Yeah, for sure, expect the worst when we start implementing boundaries, but I guarantee you it's going to be worth it.
Inside boundaries, we have safety.
Yeah.
And we need safety to have closeness.
Well, good. Well, we appreciate you being with us
Sure do.
on this podcast episode today, and it'll probably be multiple episodes. But thanks for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us, and
Yes.
we'll have you on again in the future at some point.
Absolutely.
And look forward to talking to you whenever that is. But really appreciate you coming in, sharing your story and your perspective, and how you kind of got to the place where you are today with, leaning in with individuals and families in their hardest times often. So
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
thanks for joining us on this episode of Embracing New Life and this 3-part series of our interview with Amber Wirth. Be sure to tune in next week as we begin a new interview with another colleague of ours, Kim Paredes, and we will have fun introducing you to her and her background and how she got into counseling and what motivates her as she works with people. Have a great week. See you soon. Embracing New Life is a production of New Life Resources, a Christian counseling clinic in southeast Wisconsin, whose aim and goal since 1976 has been to provide high-quality professional counseling, psychological, and consulting services from within a Christian framework.